it go? Let's get started. We're talking about coping with sabotage from family and friends, especially when it comes to losing weight and when people are trying to make change to their habits, when they're trying to make lifestyle changes to their diet. They often face a lot of resistance from family and friends. This is what I've noticed, especially in recent conversations, because in Indian families, usually the dynamic is such that you stay with a lot of members and food is cooked in one kitchen. And when you're trying to make a change, there is often resistance from the other members in the sense that, why are you trying to do this? Why are you trying to eat differently? It is very inconvenient for everyone else. All right. So there is this kind of resistance from other members. And this really makes it difficult for the person who's trying to make a lifestyle change to make those changes. And similarly, when it comes to the friend circle, I've seen that this seems to be a very common issue that people struggle with, that they want to make a change, but the people around them are not the best form of support in the process. All right, so we'll talk about this a little bit. But when it comes to family, it's usually a push from the other side to go back to how you were eating earlier, how you were doing things earlier. People say things like, why are you trying to, eat different? This is not how we eat. This is not what we are used to doing. You should think about the rest of the family as well, right? Because food is cooked for everyone. You should not have to eat separately, do things differently. All right, that is number one. The second thing is that when people are making slight progress, they're losing some weight. There are comments like, you're getting too skinny, you're losing too much weight, you should eat more. Comments like this, although objectively, when you look at things, you may not be actually skinny, you may still have a lot of weight to lose. Instead of being encouraging that you're doing a great job and being supportive about it, a lot of the times people say things like, you're losing too much weight, you're getting too skinny, you should eat more. So that makes it very hard for people to keep up with their weight loss progress, right? And this is just a family aspect. When it comes to the friend circle, what I've seen usually happen is that friends kind of guilt trip you into feeling that you're not being the person that you were earlier. You're not going out with them as often, or when you go out with them, they make plans. You don't, enjoy the food that you used to before. All right. And in a way, this makes you feel guilty that you're not able to do the things. Okay, you're not able to go out with friends. And when you go out with friends and the events are all around food, uh, and you don't want to do that, they make you feel guilty about it. So that is one thing. And the other thing is that they tend to make some kind of jokes or funny comments around things like, oh, you're just starting to diet, now you're a fit guy or a fit girl. Okay, you'll soon have a six pack, now you're a movie star. All right, some like snarky comments, although could be very lighthearted, but can be very difficult to deal with for people who are trying to make a lifestyle change. So all of this kind of sabotages your progress in a way, because here you are struggling to incorporate new habits into your life, but at the same time, you don't have the support system that lets you do it, right? And it can get difficult because from personal experience, even what I have experienced, that when I have tried to incorporate new changes in terms of my health and fitness, especially during the beginning part of my journey, this is something that I had to deal with as well. That when I go out with friends, I try to uh, adhere to my new habits. There are comments by people saying things like, it is okay, one bite won't hurt, or you can do this. It's totally fine. Like, one day of eating is not a problem. It's just one cheat meal or one cheat day, and it's not going to make much of a difference. And when you keep hearing these things over and over, you feel like you have to choose between going out with friends, hanging out with these people, or being complacent with your with your choices. But that does not always have to be the case. All right. So here I'm going to be talking about a few strategies that you can use. It's really, if I think of it, it's just one strategy. It is all centered around conversation. Okay. If you're able to talk to the people about what is bothering you and what you would rather have in terms of support from them, and if you can set some healthy boundaries around it, I feel like it becomes so much more easier for you to approach the situation. It also makes it very clear what your expectations are, and it's much easier for both parties, I feel like, going forward, so that there is no conflict unnecessary. Because if you're just avoidant about a situation, this is going to keep happening. You're going to feel terrible about it. And if you try to confront them after this pent up frustration that builds up over time from hearing these comments over and over, it's just going to make them more defensive about it. So the only way to get around this situation is conversation. Because this is something that has come up in one or two calls in the recent past that I've had with different people, that they tell me, I want to eat well, I want to do these things, but I stay with my family, so I cannot use the kitchen, or I stay with my family, but I cannot do this, or I have to go out in the weekend with my friends, and when you're with friends, you cannot eat whatever you want, you cannot do this. So it seems to be like a very common pattern. But if you are able to address it using these strategies, I think it'll be very helpful for you. All right. So the first thing that you need to do is, whenever something comes up during conversation which you're not comfortable handling, you need to address it then and there. All right. If someone is talking about your weight, someone is talking about the way you're eating, someone is pointing out things in your plate and saying what you should be or should not be doing, you should state it right then and there that making my weight a point of discussion is something that I'm not comfortable with. Like, if my weight is a topic of discussion, this is not something that I'm okay with. Can we not discuss the kinds of foods or the amount of food that I'm eating? All right. So when that comment is being made, you need to make it very clear that you are not comfortable. It is not making you feel good. All right. And only when you're able to do that, that they will understand that that is the boundary for you. That is the healthy boundary that you have set for yourself, and they should not cross that. Okay. You don't need to be aggressive about that. All you have to say is that I'm not comfortable when you guys bring up, my weight in discussions. I'm not comfortable when you are talking about the amount of food that I'm eating or the kinds of food that I'm eating. I would like to not talk about it. Okay. And try to change the subject to something else. That is all you have to do. Okay. So when you do that, it shows them that you would rather not engage in something like that. And if your friends are really caring, understanding, they would, not push it too much. All right. But you have to be assertive about that. So that is number one. Okay. The other thing, another circumstance that usually comes up is that when people have to visit other people in their homes and they're being served food, and they feel it very hard to say no to snacks, to things. All right. So here the perspective shift that needs to be there is to understand that people are being hospitable. This is just this is just a cultural norm that we are polite to guests. Okay. So put yourself in that situation. If someone came to your house, you would offer them food, you would offer them things to eat, and you are not really wary of their specific dietary concerns, their specific diet conditions, or anything, right? And that's the same when you go to someone's house, they offer you the same things. And there are a few things that you need to take into consideration here. That when you're going to someone's place, you will be offered food. So it is a part of the cultural norm to eat something over there. So the number one thing that you need to do is plan ahead of time. All right. I did a recent episode on this on the podcast as well, that you need to adjust to accommodate. So you need to plan ahead of time for this event that is coming up, so that you're able to go in there and have some kind of space in your diet for some kind of food that will be served by the host. Okay. And once you're done with that, once that cultural exchange is taken care of, you can always say that I'm full, I cannot eat everything else because I already had a heavy lunch, but I'll just take that small thing and I'll eat that. Then you eat that slowly and you have taken care of that. Problem arises when you try to say things like, I'm on a diet. Okay, that is where the conversation diverts from just you saying that I'm full, I cannot do that, to something related to why are you on a diet? Why are you trying to do this? Or you're trying to lose weight. So you yourself have shifted the conversation to your weight, to your style of eating, and this brings up topics that you don't want to talk about. So in order to avoid that, number one, plan ahead of time so that when you are going to such a place, you already have space in your diet to accommodate for like light snacking. And once you're done, all you have to say is, I'm full, but thank you so much. The food is really good, and I'll just take like this small amount. All right. And then you eat it slowly so that you don't have to sit there with an empty plate. Eat slowly. Okay. That is also important. So these two things, when conversations bring up topics you're not comfortable with, you need to address it right there and then, set your healthy boundaries. And when you are going to someone's house, someone's place, and you're being served food, make space for some kind of portions. At the same time, try to not make it about a diet or about your weight. So you want to avoid bringing conversations to that topic. All right, so try to do that. Okay, and the final thing that I have here is talking with family, because family is someone who you already who you always are surrounded with, and you have to go back to them if you especially live in a joint family situation. And in that case, before you even embark on a process of trying to lose weight, you need to sit down with people, I would say stakeholders in a way. So the members of the family who you think would not be very comfortable with you making all these changes, you need to sit with everyone and you need to tell them that you are trying to do this new thing, that you have set these new goals for yourself, and state the reasons why you're doing this. Okay, it could be because your doctor has found some kind of medical anomalies. It's because your health markers are going down. All right, if these things are happening, you need to talk about it, saying that, these things are going on in my body. My doctor says I need to lose weight, and I'm trying to do this. Okay, and I want to reach this goal over the next few months. And for that reason, it is not about you, but I will not be able to, eat the way that I have been so far. And I really appreciate the love and support that you provide, love and care that you provide. So acknowledge that their contribution is immense, right? That I'm really grateful for this, but for the next few months, it's not about you. It's not that I don't like the food. It's not that I don't want to eat, but I cannot do that because I want my health markers to improve. I want my weight to go down. All right. And for that reason, I have to take these specific steps. And in order for that to happen, I will not be able to eat like I have been, eating. Okay. And I would really like you guys to support me in this, because it's very hard for me to make these changes on my own. And if you people are there to support me, to back me up, to do things like, help me when I'm having cravings, or, when I'm feeling like snacking, if you're there to remind me of my goals, it'll be a huge, huge support. Okay. So if you're able to have this open heart to heart conversation with your family members, I'm very sure that they will be understanding. All right. So the way to approach any conversation when these things come up is to not get defensive about it. Because more than anything, today's topic is really not directly about fixing your diet or nutrition, because that is just a very straightforward thing to do. It's usually dealing with your environment, dealing with the people around you, which a lot of people struggle with. So in this specific case, when such topics come up, the first thing you need to do is accept the other person's point of view. If someone is telling you that, I'm concerned about the way you are eating, I'm concerned that your eating is too less and that you're getting too skinny. If someone tells you that, You need to first accept that point of view, saying that yes, you're correct, that I am eating less and I am losing weight. But then after you acknowledge and accept that, you have to reframe that, saying something like, I am eating less because that is what my doctor has advised me to do. I'm losing weight. Uh, Hi, Dobby. Um, so my doctor has advised me to do this, and that is why I'm doing it. All right. You have to reframe it. So don't get defensive when they say you're eating less. Don't try to get defensive and say that, I'm not eating less. I'm eating these many calories. This is what my body requirements are. As soon as you get defensive, you put up this wall barrier between you and the other person. It becomes a conflict. So accept their statement, acknowledge it, acknowledge their concern. Okay, this is for a family member. For friends, you don't have to do that. For friends, all you have to do is set a healthy boundary, saying that I'm not comfortable talking about my weight, talking about my diet. Can we talk about something else? All right. But with family, all you have to do is accept, acknowledge, then reframe. Say that this is because my doctor has told me to do this, because this is what is good for my health in the long run. And that is why I'm doing this. All right. And I would really like it if you, supported me, okay, in this endeavor. Okay, so if you are able to do this, if you're able to communicate effectively, just remember, accept, acknowledge, then reframe. And if you're just able to do this conversation with your family in a clear, uh, in a cooperative manner without causing any conflict, I'm very sure you'll be able to handle the situation. So that is it really. There is nothing else that you need to do. There's no magic bullet to this situation, to this problem. It is all about conversation. It's about making sure that you're getting your thoughts across about what you want to do across, and making sure that you're able to create that sort of cooperative support system environment from the people around you, because the people around you, they don't share the same goals as you. And it oftentimes it comes from a place of love and care rather than antagonism. They don't hate you. That is why they're not doing that. They don't want to sabotage your progress. They want the best for you, but they don't always know what is the best for you. All right, it is from their limited knowledge, from their limited experience, they're trying to help you as much as they can. And you being understanding of that, and at the same time being able to educate them about why you're doing that without being very defensive about it, I think that is the way to go. All right, so I hope this was helpful, and there is nothing else really that I have to add to this. So there are no questions. So great. And I'll be ending this live. It will be available on my page and also as a podcast. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.